Hello there, welcome to We Are Crafted in His Image. Today we're going to be working on our second project in the Dainty to Delights Cocoa and Crafts class. Excuse me. And this is the card that we are going to make. Isn't it pretty? I just think it's so pretty. I love all the layers. I love all the different things. I don't often do a lot of layers like this, but I really like the look. So this is what we're going to make today. So in your kit, you have, actually I'm going to move this over here and pull out stuff from our kit. Of course your kit has enough to make two. I will only make one because for time purposes, I'll make the other one later on off camera. So there's our card base, which we're going to need. There is a scrap piece of cardstock in here that you're going to stamp the flower image on. You've got a little strip of white we're going to stamp the sentiment on. And then in one of the two envelopes, you will find some bits and bobs and pieces and parts. We have, what we got here? There are some frames, there's some ribbon, there is another strip of cardstock, and then there are some cutout of the little, I don't know, dandelion fluffs? Queen Anne's lace? Oh my word, my tongue is not working this morning. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to take my sweater off here because I'm getting kind of warm now that I'm moving around. It's a little chilly in the house this morning, but okay, let's get moving here. So first thing we're going to do is a little bit of a background on our card. So on the card base, I'm going to pull out the Calypso Coral ink, same color we used in last week's class. Oh my word, my tongue, really? Oh wow. I've got a blending brush, and what I want to do is I want to brush some color in a circular motion, focusing it in this like centered top to bottom, but more to the right hand side of my card. So I'm going to go ahead, and we can have this pretty intense, but I don't want streaks. So I tend to like to tab off a little bit at the beginning, and then I start out light and then just continue to add more and more pressure and add more and more layers until you get it as dark as you want it. It's better to start out light than otherwise if you start out really heavy you're going to end up with streaks, and we don't want streaks. And I do want this to be kind of dark. Otherwise, the next step, when we put our little water splatters, they really won't show very much. And we wanted to give it a little bit of texture. And I am going to go pretty far out on this. Bring it out. Let's see. I'm looking at the original card and seeing how far out I need to go. I think that looks good. I might make it a little bit darker in this middle. There we go. I think I like that. And then what I'm going to do now is I want to, like I said, I want to add a little bit of texture. And to do that, I'm going to drop some water onto it. And so I just have a little squirt bottle with water in it. I'm going to spray my hand off camera so I don't get everything else wet. And you see I have just some water in my hand. And then I'm just going to kind of flick it. Yes, I have a few big drops, that's okay. I might squirt a little more. There we go. And then I'm actually going to let this sit and dry naturally. And as you can see, it's already happening in here. The water is going to grab that color and push it away and pull it to the edges, and you'll end up with like white centers and dark edges, and you can already see it working. I don't know if you can on the camera there or not, but it just makes this really cool texture on it. So we're going to let that sit and dry. I might go ahead and daub off. I had a tissue here earlier for daubing off the excess. Let me grab another one. I'm going to go ahead and daub this big water drop right here off. And yeah, I'm going to let that dry. So let me move this out of the way. And while that's drying, we're going to go ahead and stamp our flower. Oh, I got some water on my background paper too. Make sure I didn't shift the paper. Let's see, we need the smaller, there's a couple of flower images in this one. You've got the great big cluster, and then these three are about the same size. I'm going with one that actually has flower buds. This one's all leaves. This one almost looks like berries, and the Queen Anne's lace again. But this is the image I'm going to use. And ink it up with the Memento ink. go. And go ahead and stamp it on. I'm trying to find, I got some color on there. There we go. And then you want to take the die that goes with it, which is this one right here, and you want to go ahead and cut it out with your stamp and emboss machine, cut and emboss machine, which I've already done here. And actually, it's a little bit easier to color before you cut it out, but I forgot to color this one before I cut it, so we're going to go ahead and color it right now. And I just have a couple of watercolor pencils. This is very tiny images, so it goes pretty quickly. And I'm just going to come in, this is the garden green, and I'm just going to really scribble the color on there. I'm not even like being super careful. Might darken a few areas for some shading, but not, I mean, this is such a tiny image that you don't have to be very precise. Find all my green spots. I think that's a flower bud there. And technically the flower bud could be green or the color of the flower, depending on how much of the sepal has already released, how much of it is petal showing, and how much of it is the sepal still enclosing it. Excuse me, which reminds me there's a little bit of some sepals on these buds right here. There we go. And then I'm going to come in, this is Calypso Coral, and again, just scribbling on those petals. I might darken a little bit at the base of the petals by pressing a little bit harder. So scribble, and then a little bit harder at the base. I'm avoiding the center of this one because there's actually, you can see the center of this flower. Let's get some darker. This is why it's easier to do before you cut it out. The paper doesn't wiggle on you. Okay, some buds. Lots of buds. Let's get that little tiny one down there. And then I'm going to come in with yellow on these two little centers. This is Daffodil Delight. There we go. Now you could just leave that as is. You really can't. I don't have this on autofocus, so let me see if I can zoom in. If you can switch it to auto so you can see. There you go. See, it's just kind of scribbly. So what I'm going to do now, let me get it to focus on me here. I'm going to come in with our blender pens, and let's see, this one is yellow. And the yellow part you really don't even need to do much with. It's very tiny. And just go over, especially the bigger of the flowers. The little buds you probably don't even have to worry about because you really can't tell that they're scribbled. But for the flower, the bigger ones, this will help blend where you made it darker and where you made it lighter. Just kind of softens the look of the watercolor. And I could actually use a watercolor brush if I wanted, but I like the blender pens with, this is our regular basic white cardstock, and the blender pens don't cause this paper to warp. It doesn't absorb into the paper like water would. I have a piece of hair or something on that one. And there we go. Now let me see if I can get this, whoops. Come on, focus, focus. There we go. I don't know if you can tell the difference at all from before and after, but it just makes it a little bit softer. You don't see the lines of the watercolor pencils once you've used the blender pen on it. So now let's get us back out here. Focused. Make it stay focused, and there we go. Let's continue on. Our background should be totally dry now. If not, just take a little tissue, make sure everything is dry, and we're good to go. So, I don't think I need this background piece anymore. Now we're going to start putting this together. To start with, I'm going to use this piece here, and I'm checking the size. It is the right size, so all I'm going to do is use my paper snips. And here's a trick if you want to make sure Both sides are the same. Since I'm doing two anyway, I'm going to do two cards. I'm going to do them both at once. So I'm going to take one side and I'm cutting both of them together on whatever angle I want them to be. And then I'm simply going to rotate this around and use the cut that I've already made as my guide for this end to make sure that the angles are the same on both ends. And this works well if you're doing more than one, because like I said, I've got the two there. And there we go. Now I'm ready for both of my cards. Both of them are finished and ready to go. I don't think we have any more stamping. Move this out of the way. Put my trash cup. There we go. And then we have ribbon, which I do have a pair of scissors that I like a little better with my ribbon than these. I need a new pair for ribbon. Okay, I'm going to cut this in half. Actually, I'm not even going to cut it in half. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use this one that I've already cut and use that as my guide to cut this one at the same angle. There we go. Come here. This is a pretty ribbon. There we go. So I've got those cut. I'm going to save that one for my next card. So I need this. I need two of these. Now you will notice on the Queen Anne's lace pieces, the little flower pieces there, that two of them go one direction. Let me get my paper up real quick. Two of them go off to the right and two of them are going off to the left. If you'll notice on our dies, we only have one die going in one direction. So in order to get these going the opposite direction, all I did was basically cut the back side of the paper. So for these ones, I cut it like this, but for these, I flip the paper over and I cut it in this direction. Now the thing is though, this top gold section is a very, very tough paper. So when I cut it this way, I had to run it through my die machine several times, back and forth, and then even then I still ended up having to pull this area here to kind of get those out. But I got the look I wanted, and so it was worth the little extra effort there. I love this paper. It's so pretty. So let's put this away. And yeah, so that's how I got my flowers to go in opposite directions. And now let's start assembling. So for the back of this, I want this lifted up. And I have already taken a sheet of our foam adhesive sheets, these ones here, and I have trimmed off some skinny little strips of it. And I'm just going to cut these two in half lengthwise, approximately in half, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere them pretty much to the middle, whoops, of each side. But I'm not taking the backing off yet, because some of my flowers are going to go under this frame and some parts of it are going to go above the frame. So we want to make sure we can get those flowers in there. Oh, I might have to trim this down. I do need to trim it down. Stick that there. Da, 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 da. Trim that one too. Okay, so we have our frame ready. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this and my ribbon, because those both go underneath the frame completely. And actually, I think I want to trim this a little bit shorter. I think mine is a little bit long, so let me go ahead and pull this in, trim that down just a little bit. I don't quite want it going all the way edge to edge. That's a little better. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and trim this one so it's ready for my next card. Okay, so adhesive. sure I'm going the right direction here. And you can decide which way you want your little angles to go. I wanted mine to go this way. So this goes a little below center on the card. Get that on there. Oh, come on. Wow, it's a good thing I did trim that down. It just goes across. And then for this piece, I'm going to use tear and tape because it's easier to get it onto the ribbon. And it holds pretty strong. So get that on there. Peel it off. And then this is going to go slightly above. Oh, I'm going to have to trim it down too. Where did my, there we go. Just mimic that other angle. And there we go. And the end of this ribbon is going to fray a bit. That's okay. That's right. This goes with, that's the look. Okay. And then one other thing we did need to stamp, which I forgot, is our little sentiment on here. And to do that, we're going to use, this one says sending love during this season of growth. And I just want the words sending love. So to do that, you can try and just do it a little at a time, you know, just kind of do it this way and just eyeball that you're getting it on there. Or you can just use a piece of masking tape, or not masking tape, regular tape, it doesn't really matter. And you're going to tape off the words you don't want. There we go. It's a little difficult around that G there because that I comes really close to it, but we got it. Then I'm going to ink up my words. And then this is the key to remember. Remove the tape before you try to stamp. I know you guys have watched me in one of my videos before where I nearly stamped with the tape on. There we go. Okay, and now I did give you a big long strip because there's a good chance you're not going to get this straight the first time, and that's okay. You've got lots of strip to work with there. I do want it to be, I'm going to eventually want it to be a little bit long, and I want my words to be off to this side. So I'm going to do my best to center this and have it straight. Hey! Yay! Excited when that happens. Okay, pulling back in my other strip again. Again, I want this to match the same angle. So we're going to use that as our guide. And then this one I don't want as long as the peach colored one, so I'm going to trim it. Let's see. Maybe about there. I think I want about, yeah, about that much. So then just trim it off, and there we go. So that part's ready. Okay, now all of the stamping is done. And let's go ahead and get this part here put together. So I'm going to lay this down where I want it to go, and it's going to be slightly, it's not going to, I don't want it straight up and down like a diamond. I want it like a little bit cattywampus here. This is going to go underneath here and across like this. So what I'm actually going to do to make this easiest, I'm going to pull off some of this backing. I'm not going to pull it all off. I'm going to pull about half of it off like this. And the same thing on this side. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the back of, but only on this side here. A little bit of adhesive there. There we go. Alright, so set this down kind of where I want it. Well, actually, I can go ahead and hold this up, put it down. There we go. And sorry if my head gets in the way. I'm going to try not to let that happen. Alright, so I know I want this here, so I'm going to push that down. And then I am going to go ahead and put this corner down on my frame. Set that down. Then I know this is going to go under here. Let's see. And then I want, oh, I only need one of each of these. So we can get rid of these two. Come here, come here. So this, come here. I cannot pick these up. Let's see, this one's gonna go in this direction. And then this guy, I want to come up here. Oh, and before I fully set these three down, hold on. What I need to do is, I need to grab my tool here and reach behind here and loosen up, if I can, loosen up that paper. And I'm pulling it out to the side to give me a little handle to grab a hold of when I need to. So now all four edges are easy. Can you see how I just pulled the paper back to make it easier for me to grab? Once I've got all of these set where I want them, it'll be easy to put the frame down. Okay, now I can put my flowers back in here. So I know these two go in the background. Actually, I want this one in the back. And then I want this one on. Hold still here. You're gonna go on top of that one. There we go. And then this one's gonna go in the front. Maybe. Wiggle it in there. Come on, get in there. There we go. Okay, so I have these pretty much where I want them to go. So I'm gonna peel off the rest of this paper that's on this piece. Make sure these are down. And I'm gonna go ahead and set this down. Now that's gonna stick those so they're not gonna wiggle on me right now. And I can pull off this piece, stick that one down, pull off this piece and this piece, and I'll set them down. And now all I need to do is come in with a little bit of our, whew, I have stuff everywhere, our fine tip glue pen, and I'm just gonna tack these down to the frame. So like right here, there's where this flower is, I'm gonna put a little dot of glue behind that. I'm gonna put some glue back here, maybe behind this flower. And then on this one, I'm gonna do the same thing, a little bit here for that flower. And what I might want to do now is go ahead and grab a block to hold them down and let them dry for just a second or two. It doesn't take too long. Let me go ahead and put my glue. Actually, I need this out. I'm going to need it for the next step, which is some sprinkles. So again, this came from, oh, I had the book out yesterday so I could find it. I'll have to look it up again, sorry. Ooh, there it is. The For Everything sequins, For Everything Fancy sequin set. So it comes with pink and green and blue all in one. And we're obviously using the pink. Oh, that should be good. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and oh, I didn't put any under that one. Go and put a little bit of adhesive underneath there. And let that go. Now I already know where I'm going to put my sequins because I have set these down before, but one way to figure it out is really just to lay them out. Get your little pokey tool. Let me set some of these in here, spread them out so I can find what I want, and then you just, whoops, okay, I don't want the pearls on this one, I want the gems. So you're just going to pick them up and set them where you think you might like them, and then you can move them around, rearrange them a little bit till you decide exactly how you like them, and then glue them down. Now this sequin here we're going to use is gold ones. I'm going to have them so that they are cupped down. They actually have a cup to them, so I'm going to have them cupped down, then they almost look like a gem. Whoops, here, come back here. But rather than doing it, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and finish this. Let's grab, I want one of these little ones up here. That should be good. Yep, get that out of the way. Then I need a gold one down here. Flip it over. Flip it over. Come on, flip. There we go. Another gem. I can't tell where the gems are. There they are. There's one. I love the variety in this pack of sequins. You really can't even call it sequins. Because there are sequins, there are gems, there are pearls. There's so much pretty stuff in there. Okay, so I have, I think, what I want on here, pretty much where I want them. I think. Bring this one down. And so now what I'm going to do, my washi tape keeps trying to come off of here. I had ladies over for a card buffet, and several of us have these, and this is to mark that this was mine. However, I think I need a better way because my washi tape's coming off. So what I want to do now, I'm going to grab this piece off, is just like I did on the last card, I'm going to lift one of the gems, put a little tiny drop of glue there. Oops, I might have to clean out my glue bottle lid. There it goes. Put that down, and if it doesn't want to release from the sticky, use your pokey tool to do it. Now I'm going to have to move that one because I got that drop too close. There we go. Oh, come on, let go of the sticky. Oh, yay, it did. Now for these gold ones, I need a larger dot of glue because there is a cup to this sequin, and you want to make sure it reaches all the way up and grabs the whole sequin. So it doesn't end up popping off. Like, you don't want it to just glue the very edges of that, or it's not going to hold very long. There you go. And then another thing you can do after you have all of your sequins on is this glue dries clear, and it dries in like a mound. If you do a drop, it actually looks like little drops of dew or little drops of water. And so what you can do is actually come in and just put a few drops here and there and let those dry. The only thing is you want to make sure you move this card and put it somewhere where it's not going to be moved, not going to be touched for a little while. Otherwise, if you touch it, you're going to smear it, and then you're going to lose the effect. But yeah, you're just going to add a few drops, and I will zoom in on the finished one and see if you can see where my drops of glue are. My little dewdrops. I think I'll even put one in here. There we go. So let me get my lid back on because we do not want this drying out. Put this here. And then, yeah, I'm going to try and zoom in on this. Let's see, put it back on manual focus or autofocus. Maybe. Will it focus? There it goes. Let's see if you can see any of the droplets. There are some right here. I can feel them, but I'm not sure that you can see them very well. But you can see them in real life. Oh yeah, like right there. Oh, nope, that one's not. These are right here. This is really hard to do. Anyway, they are there. You can see they look like little drops of water, little water drops, and it goes along well with the water that we sprinkled on there. So yeah, this is, I'm not going to fold this up because I have to let those dry, but that is our finished card, and I did not stamp on the envelope, but you could easily just stamp this image right here in the corner and color it in. And there you have our second project, our second card. I hope you like this one. I know it's a little fiddly getting all those in the right place underneath and trying to get them, but that little trick of pulling part of the tape off so that you can just adhere a corner of it and then being able to pull it out after you get them where you want, that kind of helps. So until next time, God's love and blessings to you. Bye.